Hello everyone, my name is Khánh and two other members in my group is Uyên and Uyên. Welcome to our presentation. So my group focus on the topic of the US political system. And we have decided to divide this into three parts. The first is governing system. Ian will take on this part. And the second part is party system. And the last part, the election. When you'll take over this part. Now, so let's start with the first part, the governing system. Ian? Yeah.
Hello guys, we're going to talk about American politics and I'm Ian. I want to focus on today to the government system in the United States. So let's start. As you know, the form of the US government is the Federal Representative Democratic Republic, and there are 6 principles of American government. The first one is popular sovereignty. The second is the federalism. The next one is limited government, separation of powers, checks and balances, and the last one is judicial review. And we will begin with the first principle is the popular sovereignty. The modern versions of popular sovereignty is the government based on its citizens' wishes. Under popular sovereignty, the government's authority comes from people. Its power is not legitimate unless it considers the will of the people. So people are the source of government power and other key aspects of democracy. And the next one is federalism. Federalism is the crucial concept in American system of constitutional government. And it means the governing power is divided between the federal government and state government. So a state has its own limited independence or sovereignty. Local states remain part of one overall country. They do not have national sovereignty and have no power under international law. So the federal government has the power to control issues at the national level. And the third principle is limited government. Though the states saw the need for central government or federalism, they did not want all the power to leave the people, popular sovereignty or the states. So they create government in which the power of the government is limited. The principle holds no government is all powerful, and government can only do those things the people have give them the power to do. Some flip side of popular sovereignties, the people are the source of the government power, and the government only has the authority the people have given it. And the next one is the separation of power. Each of the 3 branches of government has its own responsibility. So the founders hope this would prevent any one branch from gaining too much power. And the power of government are vested in 3 distinct separate branches are the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch. So it is really equal branches of power. So it is a diagram of the 3 branches of U.S. government. The first one is the legislative branch. It is Congress, which is made up of the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate. The next one is the executive branch. It is led by the president. The president often draws on the advice of the vice president and a group of advisors called the cabinet. And the last one is judicial branch. The judicial branch is the federal court system. It is headed by the U.S. Supreme Court. the highest court in the nation. And we will dig deeper into each branch in the U.S. government system. The first is the legislative branch. As I mentioned before, the legislative branch is Congress, and it has two houses, the House of the Representatives and the Senate. The number of representatives per state is based on each state's population. Currently, there are 435 representatives, and these representatives are elected to 2-year term. The second is the Senate. Each state has 2 senators, which means there are 100 senators total. These senators are elected to 6-year term, and each main job is to make laws in the United States. The next branch of the government is the executive branch. The executive branch is led by the president. The president is elected to 4-year term and can be elected only twice. He or she can sign, pass into law, or veto bills passed by Congress. And the vice president is elected to a 4-year term on the same ticket as the president. If the president dies or leaves the office, the vice president takes over. And the last one is the cabinet. These people are appointed or chosen by the president, but the Senate must approve them. Most cabinet members oversee federal departments such as education and defense. And the last branch is judicial branch. Federal court system headed by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has power to overturn laws that do not agree with the U.S. Constitution. The next is state court system. There are more than 100 federal courts throughout the U.S. At the lowest level are 94. The local district court system, district courts that cover different regions of the country. Above the district courts are the 13 courts of appeals, and their responsibilities is to interpret the constitutional and review laws. So in the next principle of the U.S. government, did you know about the checks and balances? Even though the branches of government act on their own, they are subject to checks or balance from the other branches. The idea allows each branch to ensure one branch of government can hold total power and can be overridden by another. All 3 branches are needed to make the government run properly. So as you can see in this diagram, this diagram about the checks and balances between 2 branches of U.S. government. And the last principle of the U.S. government is judicial review. In the judicial review, courts have the power to declare laws and action of the Congress and the President unconstitutional. These were established by Marbley versus Madison in 1803. A decision can only be changed by another court decision or an amendment. So that's some information about the U.S. government system, and I hope it will be useful for you. And now, Linh, my partner, will continue to give you some information about the party system in the next part. Thank you.
Yeah, hello, I'm come back. So when it comes to election, President of the United States, people often think of the rivalry of the Republican and Democratic parties. In other words, the US election is not only about choosing the next president, but also the decisive moment of which party will govern for the next 4 years. So, what is the fundamental difference between Republicans and Democrats in American politics? The US Constitution says nothing about political parties, but over time, there has actually developed two party system, Democrats and the Republicans. Besides these two parties, there are other parties, including the Communist Party and the Socialist Party. Minority parties also sometimes win positions in subordinate governments, but these parties do not play a major role in national politics. For too long, these third parties have played only a dim role in US presidential contest and have appeared occasionally but almost never had a real chance of winning the White House. And the second, I want to introduce to you the origin of two primary parties. Originally, both Republicans and Democrats originated from a single party, the Democratic Republican Party, founded in 1782 by James Madison and Thomas Jefferson. The Democratic Republican Party was created to counterbalance the Federalist Party, which was the most powerful in America at that time. After British-American War in 1812, the Federalist Party lost support and disbanded. This left the Democratic Republican Party with a revolt, leading to an increasingly loose organization, splitting factions between 1815 and 1832. And until 1828, the Democratic Republican Party split into the modern Democratic Party and another political party, the Whig Party. So, what is the difference between Republicans and Democrats in politics? The current Democratic Party was founded by Andrew Jackson and his supporters in 1828. He was the president of the United States from 1829 to 1837. And until now, Americans consider Andrew Jackson to be the first Democratic president of the United States. Democrats have emerged and won the support of African Americans with the racial equal views. And the fourth difference is the symbol of the Democratic Party is the image of donkey. So the name, we can call another name Donkey Party, and the symbolic color is blue. But you can look at the column to the right of Republican Party. It is also commonly known as the GOP. It's short for Grand Old Party. It's one of the America's two largest political parties. The Republican Party was founded in 1854 by a group of former Whig members who opposed slavery and modernized United States. The prime figure of Republican Party was Abraham Lincoln, head of the Union against slavery in the American South and the President of the United States from 1861 to 1865. The symbol of Republic Party is the elephant. So we can call another name Elephant Party. And the simply color is red. Now, so let's move on to the stand, policy, and ideology. So the Democratic Party's stance is seen as liberal and supports civil liberties and social liberties. But Republican Party has been seen as more social, conservative, and more economical liberty. And the next sector is policy. The next difference is in policy. The Democratic Party advocates eliminating long-standing tradition, value constraints, eliminating moral conventions. Democrats want government to intervene in the economic. They advocate high taxes on high earners, as well as promoting social welfare. With the ideology of instinctively promoting individual freedom, supporting immigration, supporting social welfare. So it has support from the gay community, mostly the African American community, and the Latin immigrants. Okay, so you can see the Republican Party in policy. They advocate small government, that is minimizing interference of or establishing government agencies to govern. They support free market economy, minimize government interference in the economic, tighten illegal immigration, support the right to life, and oppose abortion, oppose same-sex marriage, and oppose gun control. So through many political ideologies since its founding, in general, the political thought the Republican Party tends to be traditional, conservative, revolving around preserving and maintaining traditional values. Yeah, and the last three factors, the three difference in supporter, last president and authority I want to mention. So Democratic Party in American history, there have been 15 Democratic presidents. The first president was Andrew Jackson, in power from 1829 to 1837. And the last Democratic president was Joe Biden, as you see. And about the Republican Party, because of its traditional tendencies, the majority of people of faith tend to favor Republicans. Southern states have traditional favor Republicans. There have been 20 Republican presidents, most noteworthy Abraham Lincoln. He was instrumental in abolishing slavery in America in the 19th century. Yeah, so that's all the difference I want to introduce to you between Democratic Party and Republican Party. So now let's move on to the next part is the election system. So Uyên, yeah, your turn.
Hello everyone. Now I will continue the presentation about the election system. Okay, so first we will overview 1 year before the election. So candidates from two main political parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, begin their campaign trail. They set up their team and start going on tour around the country to rally for support and to fundraise for their campaign. And at the start of this campaign, candidates from both parties participate in televised debate. During the debates, each candidate will have to answer tough questions about their policies as well as defend their stand on issues and policies against other candidates. Then the election progress begins. The U.S. presidential election process can be daunting. What an electoral college? What's the difference between a primary and a caucus? What are national convention for? And we're here to answer for your question. And next one, we'll move to 4 main steps for election. The first one is primary and caucus. There are many people who want to be president, each with their own idea about how the government should work. People with similar ideas belong to the same political party. This is where primary and caucus come in. Candidates from each political party campaign through the country to win the favor in their party member. Beginning in February, the main voting events, primary and caucus, will lead to a selection of delegates who will represent the people at the upcoming convention. The main focus will be the results from Lower New Hampshire, Nevada, and South Carolina, which can usually determine who the final presidential nominee for each party will be. And in a caucus, party members select the best candidates through a series of discussions and votes. In a primary, party member votes for the best candidates that will represent them in the general election. And they move to step 2, the second step, national convention. Each party holds a national convention to select a final presidential nominee. State delegates from the primary and caucus selected to represent the people will now endorse their favorite candidates, and the final presidential nominee from each party will be officially announced at the end of the convention. The presidential candidate also chooses a running mate, vice presidential candidate, and the presidential candidates campaign throughout the country to win support of the general population. And next step, we move to general election. General election, people in every state across the country vote for one president and vice president. When Americans go to the poll in November, and they will select their favorite presidential candidate and their running mate. When people cast their vote, they are actually voting for a group of people called electors, except the states of Maine and Nebraska. If a candidate receives a majority of the votes from people of the state, then the candidate will receive all electoral votes of that state. The presidential nominees will the most electoral votes become the president of the United States. And the last step, we move to electoral college. The electoral college is a process in which elector or representative from each state in number proportional to the state population cast their vote and determine who will be president. Each state gets a certain number of electors based on its representation in Congress. There are a total of 538 electors selected according to each state policy. Each elector casts one vote following the general election, and the candidates who get more than half 217 wins. The newly elected president and vice president are inaugurated in January.
And in conclusion, elections are held regularly and separately for the US. President for both House of Congress and for the states and local government held according to the single-member district system based on the principle of winner take all, and only one candidate is elected to a given officer. And now, in order to get your understanding and in order to practice more about this topic, we have a quiz game for you guys to play. Can you please accept the link here and you can do some question here from me, please? So my group members sent a link in the chat box. You guys can access that and play a small game.
Đợi nó chung nữa.
So we have 4 players.
Actually, you have three. Sao lại có hai người nhỉ? Okay, but I'll start.
Thank you guys so much for joining this game. And I hope that after this presentation, you can learn some more about political system and about US. And thank you for listening. Congratulations, Thanh Loan, you are the best here.